Now Dasher was a big bashful reindeer. You know, I talked to him one day. I said, Dasher, how does it make you feel way back here when you're pulling the sleigh? But Dasher didn't want to be a show-off. You know, he spoke very gentle, very kind. He said, friend, it's according to where you start counting. Am I number 1 or number 9? Long, long ago, through the ice and snow, Santa picked out his reindeer gang. It made me feel proud when he looked through the crowd and I heard him call out my name. You know, I've got big ears so I can only half hear, and I wondered what he had on his mind. He said, Dasher, you're strong, want you to come along and bring up the end of the line. So I'm bringing up the end of the line, bringing up the end of the line. And all the other reindeer know that I'm the main deer, 'cause I can get them there on time. You see, way back here with Santa so near, I can almost read his mind. With his first ho-ho, I'm ready to go, bringing up the end of the line. Now I've got a notion that there'll be no promotion, 'cause I'm ranking at the top, you see. I just hope that all the other nice reindeer don't get jealous of me. I like to dash through the snow and feel the cold wind blow. You know, it makes me feel famous and fine. Why, even little Rudolph tells me that I'm well off, bringing up the end of the line. So I'm bringing up the end of the line, bringing up the end of the line. All the other reindeer know that I'm the main deer, 'cause I can get them there on time. You see, way back here with Santa so near, I can almost read his mind. With his first ho-ho, I'm ready to go, bringing up the end of the line. I'm bringing up the end of the line.
Good morning. Welcome to Stuttgart Harvest Church, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we're actually on Facebook Live this morning and YouTube Live. We made it. We've had major technology problems the past few weeks, and I think we are live this morning. So if you happen to be online with us, I'm so sorry, but we're glad that you're here with us today. And good morning to everybody in this room. I am glad to see you. I've been missing you, and I'm glad to be here this last Sunday before Christmas this week. It's going to be a busy week, isn't it? As you came in this morning, you noticed that Mr. Jimmy handed you a worship pack, and inside that worship pack are a couple of items. And I also just want to mention that on that worship pack is a QR code. And so we finally made it to about 2001. So we finally arrived. We are using the QR code, and McKinley has it on the screen as well. If you want to use that, you can use your phone. That QR code will take you straight to our online worship guide, and that'll get you there. All the things I'm going to talk about, you can have a digital version where you can easily see from your phone, as opposed to sometimes it's hard to see in our low lit room. But the paper items are what's inside the worship pack, and those paper items have several things in there. One of those is a giving envelope, and you've heard me say this before. I just want you to know, though, that giving envelope is not there to pressure you or make you feel coerced into using it, or we're not trying to trick you or making you feel guilt. It is only there for folks who came today thinking, you know what, I'm going to use that giving envelope. That's the only reason it's in there. In fact, if you don't need it, you could still place it where I'm going to tell everybody to place those, because if you didn't need it, we'll recycle them. That is no problem at all. You can place it. In fact, the connection card, I'm going to talk about that in a moment, and the giving envelope, both of those can go inside one of these suitcases you'll see on the sides of the aisle right there by the door. So I learned that with Southwest Airlines. Let's see. I also want to tell you, the connection card, so while the giving envelope is not for everybody, the connection card actually is for everybody, and that's how you let us know your prayer request. It's how you let us know comments, questions. It's also very important how you let us know what next steps you're thinking about taking, and we're going to be suggesting some next steps as we before we leave today. So if you're using the phone version, you might wait to hit submit on that till after the teaching time today. And if you're using the paper version, then you can just drop those in one of those two pieces of luggage back there by the back door, and then we will get that. And if you're a guest today, you just give us the information on there you're comfortable giving us. If you have anything, anything you need to update, you can give us updated information. And also, if you're a guest, I promise you, if you give us your address, we're not going to just show up at your house. That will not happen, I promise. We just use that for actually, if we're going to send you a piece of mail, that's why we would use that address. And so the other information is our favorite. We really love texting, and email would be second to that. So if you want to give us those, that would be great. We will not abuse that privilege. And if you feel like we are, just let me know, and we can fix that. So, all right, that's all I can think of. But let's take just a moment to begin the process of filling out the connection card right now. Let's give a few seconds to do that. All right. As you continue filling out that card, I would just like to take an opportunity to say Merry Christmas. And I am so glad to be one of your pastors at Stuttgart Harvest Church. This morning, Cole is over at the church in Malvern, and I got to see him for just a few seconds before he headed that way today, and they are over there right now. And the very same thing we're doing here, they're doing over there, and that church exists because you, Stuttgart Harvest Church, started it. That is your child over there in Malvern. And it's just a baby little church, but it's gathering some folks just like we are, who are doing their best to take steps with Jesus. And it's there because God led us to do it, and you did it. You're a part of that. Thank you. And so this morning, I would like to lead us in a prayer. And if you would, let's talk to our Heavenly Father together, and then we're going to jump into the teaching time. Let's talk to Him. God, thank you for this day. I'm excited about this series that we're in. And before we get started, has Nash made it in here yet? Nash graduated. I'm so proud of him. Listen, Nash, I've got a little gift for you here that you don't need to open it up in front of everybody. I just want you to come and get it. But this is for you. It's not really for your graduation. It's just because you're awesome is all. So you can take that back to your seat. The fun thing about Christmas and this season, yeah, I'm excited. Nash is a graduate. He's graduating. He's so proud of him. You know, it's kind of fun this time of year, this season, we get to give gifts. That is fun. I enjoy that. And I was thinking about this. I was thinking, okay, we get to give Nash just a little gift, just not a big thing, just something to make you smile, you know, but we get to do that. And I get to do that. I get to hand it to him. I get to give it to him. I got to think about it on the way over here. It's like, if Nash is there, I'm going to give him a little gift, a little box. And I got to thinking about it and how fun that is to get to do that. And you know, while I'm hearing myself tell this story, I'm beginning to realize that even though I kind of said that was about Nash, the more I talk about it and describe it, the more that story actually was about me giving that to Nash. So even though I was giving him something, it kind of becomes a story about myself and what I'm doing. Because naturally, my perspective in all of this life, Nash, even when it's related to you, I struggle with this. My perspective is to make it about me somehow. And even if it's not overtly about me, it's about me and the way it makes me feel. Somehow, I naturally make it about me. I don't have to work hard to do that. It just happens. And like we said last week, with our lives, I certainly have the tendency to make things around me revolve around me because I want what I want, and so I do what I can to get what I want. But at the same time, I'm not totally heartless, am I? I mean, I don't think I'm completely self-absorbed, am I? I mean, it is not all about me or mine. I do like to give, and I do enjoy serving in some ways, especially this time of year, though. I enjoy doing something for other people, especially at Christmas season. It feels good to serve. But the more I think about it, that good feeling that I get from serving, it's easy for my serving to become self-serving. I'm going to have McKinley put that on the screen because I think that's something I want us to remember. It's easy for my serving to become self-serving. So in many senses, as I look at that phrase, my serving is kind of broken. But you know, that's not the only thing broken. Not only is my serving broken, my giving is broken too. It seems like I have this little hint almost all the time of broken giving. So when I give something, there's still a brokenness to it because I usually give to somebody with some kind of expectation in return. Even if it's just like, anything will do. Any type of return. I mean, even a smile, if I'm giving back a smile or a thank you or some kind of kind acknowledgement, just something, anything will do. But in that, there's this little tiny seed, a little tiny seed of self-serving giving. So place that on the screen, McKinley. A little tiny seed of self-serving giving, and that's me. But surely, I'm not the only one. Don't we all, on some level, in some way, kind of do something similar? And sometimes we serve, and sometimes we give in order to gain a little bit of position. Sometimes we serve and sometimes we give in order to gain just a little bit of recognition or glory. And again, all of those things are self-serving, and it's self-serving giving. Because there's just something about us that tries to make it all about us. But it was no different 2,000 years ago in the first century. It was no different for the followers of Jesus. They struggled with that very same thing. While Jesus was here on earth, the people who followed him, they struggled with that. They too were self-serving, and they too had a hard time thinking about anybody else except themselves. And it was such a significant issue while Jesus was here on earth that he actually stopped more than once what he was doing to once again explain the principle that we're going to be trying to communicate this morning. And by the way, the conversation that we're going to look at today, that conversation actually happened shortly before Jesus was going to be arrested and tortured and executed. So that means in order for him to stop and take time to talk about that when it's so close to what he knew was coming, that this must have been very significant for Jesus. This morning we're going to be reading from a first-hand account of that experience that we're going to be talking about today. So the guy who wrote this down, inspired by God to write it, but he was there when it happened. This is what he experienced. And it's the follower of Jesus called Matthew. And we're going to be looking at this. And McKinley's going to have it on the screen for you. It's Matthew chapter 20. And I'm going to start reading. And McKinley, just kind of hang out here with me phrase by phrase. We're going to start reading in verse 17. It says, and Jesus was going up to Jerusalem. And this